your mind expands. What is a man without his mind? What is a man without the mind? I mean, imagine that you have lost your mind. You know the difference between you and those who have lost their minds? Look at the madman, the person you call the madman. You understand that even mad people use their minds. You understand that. They also do use their minds because they see things, even though those things are not there. But the fact that they see things means their minds are active. Negatively, you may say, yeah. So how yes, I might be saying the usage of the mind and all of that. And yes, most of us, we are using our minds. We have things we all think about. Oh, we need food. Oh, we need clothing. Oh, we need security. Oh, we need, yes, we need lots and lots of that. And as a matter of fact, most of those things are actually supposed to be provided by the government. So why are you praying about things that you know should be provided to you by the government? And we have been praying for over 60 years, asking God to provide water, provide electricity, to provide good roads. Whereas God has also given you the mind to change these things, to make sure that you have good roads, to make sure that you have good schools, to make sure that you are safe, to make sure that your children are not scared of going out when they see the army. They are not scared. I was reading online today. I went online and then I saw this other post where they were talking about one celebrity in Nigeria who saw this beautiful lady, an army officer, and he did not know how to approach her. Whereas the security infrastructure in every country are supposed to be they are supposed to be your friend. In Nigeria, they say police is your friend, whereas it is that bad friend that kills you for no reason. That is who they are, the kind of friendship. So the moment we employ our minds, yes, it becomes a tedious task, but a tedious task today that will yield a very wonderful fruit tomorrow. The problem we solve today becomes lesser than us. We understand it better because at that point we have advanced our minds in more ways than it was the last time. And talking about the mind and what a man is without the mind, look at animals. Look at, for instance, the ants. Look at soldier ants. They are always working in accordance to their purpose. They are always working. Even the small heads they have, they are always using it to perform their tasks. They have their soldiers, they have the queen, they have the different functions, and they have to always stay in line. Just like IPOB have people in different hierarchies, in different positions, performing different tasks. I love what our leader's wife said, that somebody said, if I were Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's wife, all the things I would have done. Are you doing things that you are supposed to do? Or are you doing things because, oh, I feel it is very, very exciting. I want to be excited about it. What are you doing? There are certain people that will come out and speak, and the first thing I'm thinking is why? Actually, not certain people, almost everybody. Whenever someone speaks to me, I'm asking myself why. Because I want to understand why the person is saying what you are saying, why you are communicating the information you are communicating. Just like I'm on air right now and talking about the use of the mind, why am I communicating about the use of the mind? Because if I can touch one life tonight and make the person ask why every single time you see an information, you ask yourself, first of all, before checking if the information is correct or not, you ask yourself why this information. So you understand the mind of the person giving you the information. So that when you understand the mind of the person giving you the information, you can now better look at the information properly. It is like the first time I asked somebody a religious question. I said, why? I mean, why? If you are telling me that this person is from Israel and their religion is Judaism, and you are practicing something else that I believe the man did not practice, I'm asking why? I mean, you're his follower, then why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing something that he did not practice? I'm not saying what you are doing is wrong or right. No, I'm just asking why. Then when you tell me why, I can now ask the next question. Why? Okay, perhaps it is to better fit into your program. Okay. If it is to better fit into your program, why don't you find a program that is indigenous to you? Why do you have to change somebody's story? Why? It is the use of the mind. It is the use of the mind. So you are your mind. You are what you think. Because what we think eventually becomes our habit. It becomes what we say. It becomes what we do. It becomes whatever we think on. We actually feast on information. When we read and see and listen to things, those things become information passed into our subconscious. And those affect our mind. That becomes the information that we rely on. Do you understand that, for instance, when on a very good day, you are here having a good day, and you go to bed, you sleep, you have good dreams most of the times because of the state of your mind. If you had a very, very bad day, believe you me, when you go to bed, you will probably have nightmares. Not because somebody in your village is attacking you, but because you have so much stress and tension. Why do you think you sleep well? It is the power of the mind. You are what you think. You are what you subject your mind to. In our daily activities, for instance, you go into, I read this news some time ago, a couple of years ago, when the Nigerian some government in the west, in the western part of Nigeria, they brought in these cows. I'm not sure if it's Ondo. I'm not sure of the state, but they brought in cows. As soon as cows landed in the zoo, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. I heard about the news. They ran into the what do you call it again? Disrupting the aircraft. They lost their minds. They lost their minds. Most times it's very easy to think that perhaps we are the only ones who have minds to reason. But you see animals, even when you see a cow can differentiate between foods. A cow will see this food and not eat it, because this is something it is used to. This is something it's been eating. So its mind can relate with the information in front of it. They got to Nigeria, they lost their minds. It was like they were injected with madness, and they just broke loose. Now imagine you as a human being, how you have been trying so hard to control yourself. You go out every single day only for Nigeria to mess up your mind. You come home, you unleash anger on your children, on those around you. Nigeria is not good for you. Nigeria cannot let you be sane, be thinking properly. You cannot. It is impossible to think properly in the zoo. That is how the system has been designed. The system programs the people to reason in a way that is unfit for human. The system comprises of all the sections that makes it function effectively for people to grow a certain way, to reason a certain way, to do certain things. That is why sometimes when you look at people from a particular location, you say, this person behaves like, you generalize people from a certain place. And sometimes by their actions, not because you just want to, but it is because of their actions, because of the information that they have been fed, that their mind has been. We are basically like computers. Just like computer. It is a programming. It's called programming. You are programmed to live a certain way. Your program determines the kind of life that you live, the kind of things that you do. I know. It is crazy to the point that to the point that Nigerians leave the zoo and the zoo does not leave them. It is like saying, you can take me out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of me. People leave the zoo. The zoo never leaves them because they have been programmed to behave in that way. So Radio Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu brought Radio Biafra to reprogram us. And before you reprogram somebody or computer, you must format the system. You must format the system. I hope I am right. I hope those who are tech savvy will tell me. How do you reformat a system? It means you clear the information already contained in the system. And as a human being, you know you are not a machine. You cannot just close your eyes and probably put some disc or whatever in your mouth or your ears or your nose and then expect your system to be cleared and cleaned and what have you. No. It is a gradual process because it took time for that information to be embedded in your brain, in your mind. And you have been living with that information that if somebody is killed in Olo, and even if you are from Olo and you are living in Lagos, then it does not concern you. If somebody is killed in Olo and you feel like it concerns you, you want to do something, you come out on the street for one day, hey, we are tired. And that is it. And even most people will hear that people made attempt to change the status quo will not want to be part of it because of their mind clogged up. They have a very disastrous information. Very disastrous. They have failed to be programmed correctly so as to discharge their responsibilities properly. Therefore, we go around not living the life that we are supposed to live. We can go around blaming the government, blaming the Fulanis, blaming those in authority and all of that, blaming even Britain. Yes, they have their own share of the blame. I'm not one that will say, no, we are to blame, we must first take responsibility and all of that. Yes, we have to take responsibility. We must first take responsibility before we expect that from others. But the fact is, we have a very huge part to play. If we cannot take responsibility, then we do not have the right to expect others to take responsibility. Which is why since IPOB has been speaking, has been campaigning, calling out for the release of our leader, calling out for the freedom of the Biafran people, you can now hear some people in international spaces, people who are not Biafran, speaking up for you because you have to take a step first. it is your responsibility. You must take a step, not just a step, but prove that yes, this is what I really want. I am not joking about it. I am not joking about it. Because your mind is set. It is called mindset. Because your mind is set on it and you are loyal to your commitment. You are loyal to yourself. That is mindset. Look at animals. They have different responsibilities. They carry out their responsibilities. Look at birds. They have different responsibilities. They have different jobs. They play their parts because they are effectively using their minds. The moment they stop using their minds, what happens? They die off. Imagine an eagle changing the mindset. Instead of living like an eagle flying up high there in the sky and being above, for instance, from the sky, an eagle sees a snake, wants that food, that delicious protein, goes diving to grab the snake, and as soon as the eagle grabs the snake, the eagle stays on the ground fighting with the snake. Do you know that eagle's name will be sorry? The way that we have been made to think that there is heaven and hell, perhaps they also feel the same way because they communicate with each other, right? So let us say, for instance, during their communication, they now tell each other that, oh no, there is heaven and hell. Oh, there is all of those stories that we tell ourselves. That eagle's name will be written somewhere in their hell because of the change of mindset. You have left where you are supposed to function, where you are more effective, to the ground. It doesn't mean an eagle does not come to the ground. No, it does. It is forced to the ground because of the snake. The snake is there on the ground, so it has to come to pick the snake and go up. We have been forced to the ground like every Nigerian has been forced to live in penury, live in anguish, live in anxiety, live in total inhumanity. But we must understand that that is not where we are supposed to be. We must be loyal to ourselves to the point of understanding that our place is not where we are right now. We have to show commitment to ourselves and to our responsibility to understand that this is not our place, that we are supposed to live like humans. We are supposed to live like humans, not like animals, not like wild dogs, not like criminals. So it is very important that we understand the place of our mind and that we cultivate the habit of using our mind and that we become intentional about our thoughts. We become intentional about our thoughts. Unfortunately, I cannot open the line because I am still struggling with, I feel like my phone has been hacked. So I am having issues with this system. I do not want to expose anybody to some sort of harm or whatever, because I mean, my phone, whenever I switch it on, it shows me that my device is connected to some other device. I have no idea why, and I'm still trying to sort it out, so I cannot open the line yet, but I will be I just let us conclude this evening. Let us have this but I can be on Facebook. I mean, we can communicate via Facebook, or if you can, or on Twitter. Yeah, I believe we can do that on Twitter. It is very important that we all go open up Twitter accounts. That we all go open up Twitter accounts. And if you are joining us, please note that we are live on Hello Motherland on Radio Biafra. That is Hello Motherland on Radio Biafra on Facebook. We are also live on Radio Biafra on Facebook. We are also live on IPOB Johannesburg, South Africa. These are Facebook accounts. So you can listen to this gospel from any of these accounts. And we are also live on Radio Biafra app. We are live on IPOB Community Radio app. We are also live on 102.1 FM from anywhere in Biafra land. I mean, our radios are functioning all over Imo State, all over Biafra land. So there is no reason for you not to listen and spread this gospel. If you are on Facebook and you're probably scared of sharing this, let me advise you. This will help you. Open up another Facebook account. Perhaps I think this might help, especially if you're living overseas. Just open up another Facebook account. Maybe not your full name or whatever. If you are scared of sharing, because I know most of us are not, you can use whatever name. I see some people answering Biafra Pekin, wonderful name. And you can use that for spreading of the gospel. You can add yourself, whatever, add people, start spreading the gospel, you know. So there is no reason why you cannot listen to us, and there is no reason why you cannot share. We are still on the mind, and I want to read something from Punch. I just want to quickly read something from the Punch newspaper. Okay, somebody wrote me on Facebook saying Iguacha relay station is off for over 2 years now. What are you people doing about it? I want to ask this man what his responsibility is. What is your responsibility? Is your responsibility going around checking where the stations are working or not? I'm not saying it in a way to dampen your spirits, dampen whatever you are doing. I am just asking you what your responsibility is. I mean, yes, Iguacha is off. That is good. It's perhaps very good that it is good that you brought it to our attention, that you brought it to my attention, and people are listening, of course. But at the same time, what is your responsibility? There are people who are willing to learn and listen in Iguacha. Why can't people just come out from Iguacha and say, what do we need to do? Or can we take this responsibility? Can we ensure? That is assuming the radio stations are not working. This is a project where individuals are making contributions. I expect people to stop complaining and do something. Like this man, this complaint he made here, or of course, this is an action. This is an action. Yeah, it is. And at a time like this, where radio stations are not working, it is important that we make it work. We make it work. That is, if it is not working. You understand that Radio Biafra, the media, those who are responsible for the radio are going around making sure that the radio stations in diverse places are working effectively. They are doing what they can. I do not understand what's happening on Facebook. I feel like Facebook is purposely trying to dampen our spirit, but that is not gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. So I talked about this post from Punch, and it says Kogi monarch queried for absence during Buhari state visit. The Kogi state government has issued a query to the paramount traditional ruler and Ohinoi of Ibera land, Ado Ibrahim, for failing to show up to welcome the president, Major General. The zoo. So this man failed to go out there and welcome the dead man, and they queried him. They queried him for not showing up to welcome a dead man. I mean, somebody who put the country in so much insecurity, and you want people to come out and welcome. Why are you this imposter? Why do you keep walking around even? Are you not even ashamed of yourself? Huh? Are you not even ashamed of yourself? And this is what they want you to consider as normal. When you don't come out to welcome their dead man, they query you, making people think that this is normal, making you think that it is okay to dance for those who are killing you. This is the tactics of abusers. This is how they behave. This is how they behave. They kill you and they ask you to apologize. They beat you and they make you think that you are wrong. They beat you, they do all manner of things to you, they rape and pillage your land, and at the same time they expect you to say thank you. That is how the zoo is shaping the minds of people. So imagine a child that grew up in this system, that is growing up seeing this nonsense happening. Seeing this nonsense happening, the child will think this is normal. That is why we must employ our reasoning caps. We must put on our thinking caps to show these people that this is not normal, to show our children that this is not normal. This is abuse. This is the highest form of abuse. You kill people and you want them to thank you. You kill people when you come to their home. You say, why didn't they come to welcome you? You query them. Their markets are burning. Their businesses are collapsing. You go on borrowing money. Money for no reason. Money you borrow, you send to Niger Republic, building infrastructures for Niger. And then you come to the people who do not have electricity, who don't even know what electricity is. And when they fail to show up, probably because they did not even have the information, maybe they haven't even watched TV in years, or perhaps because they could not afford to buy battery to put on their transistor radio, and you go to query them. The same people that you have been killing. The same people. This is what they want you to think, that it is normal. They want you to see this as normal because they are working on your mind. The zoo is structured to work on your mind and to make you I'm looking for the right word. That is to depress you so that you conform to that character, that idiotic character, like an animal. Let me read this post from Inter-Society. It says, it is a report from Inter-Society. It says, Nigerian Army's new lopsided postings prone to ethno-religious insecurity, ravaging Nigeria and threatens security, safety, popularity, and credibility of the 2023 polls. Okay, I read this earlier on. There's something I'm trying to bring out from Inter-Society. I'm just having issues finding it, but I will find it. Let us continue with our conversation for today. And I said we can communicate via Twitter. I am on Twitter at Mbanali Sochima. So we can communicate via Twitter. Let us continue with our conversation about the mind. Because I said man is his mind. You are a product of your mind. Of course, we know that. But I read somewhere today where someone was talking about the four quotients of the mind. That is the intellect and all of that. About four of them: the emotional, the EQ, that is emotion, and the IQ. Why am I forgetting the other one? So I'm left with two, but I will remember. My mind is a bit this thing right now, warped right now. So having a conversation with somebody about life. I remember having this conversation with somebody about life, safety, and all of that. I think I have told the story here, but I want to bring out something again from that story because it is all about how we reason. I have spoken about the protest and people being killed at different places, and others are just sitting down there. And for the people in Imo State, I understand how dirty Rochas did them. I understand that most times if you want to make people moribund, if you want people to be like dead bodies, like one of our comrades call people, if you want to make people like dead bodies inactive, you just have to increase prostitution and level of immorality in the society. Somebody was having a conversation with me sometime, and he was talking about during the Rochas administration how this government introduced men sleeping with men, and in that government it was rampant, according to this guy. And he worked for he was in one of the establishments working for them, so he would always talk about how the guys would come in there and what they would subject other guys to. Young boys, recruiting young boys into their devilish acts. That is why no matter what you do in Imo State, these young boys, they have already been mentally and emotionally subdued. Go to Owerri. What is the time now? From just 1 hour, 2 hours, you find the streets of Owerri booming with those who see prostitution as their work. So I was having a conversation with somebody about life, about safety. And before I get to that conversation, let me talk about this, because I lost a friend in 2021, for no good reason. He died as a result of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just like the guy that was shot by the military. Just like almost every single death in Nigeria. Avoidable deaths. People are not safe. Just by being in your house, the Nigerian army can pass and open fire, start shooting your houses. I mean, I saw this video. There is a video of the Nigerian army. They videoed themselves shelling people's houses. This is what they learned from their government. Of course, they shelled Biafrans in 1967 to 1970. That led to the death of over 6 million. Actually, recent information says over 7 million Biafrans. Over 7 million, according to recent information. Now, that is what Nigeria army is doing today. So people die in Nigeria for no reason. Even those people are suffering from different illnesses, hepatitis, and all of that. All of that. People are suffering because of Nigeria. Like cancer. So this friend died just because of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, like almost every Nigerian. In 2021, I almost lost another person very close to me, just for the same silly reason. Wrong place, wrong time. But this one was not in Nigeria. This did not happen in Nigeria. So, but the thing is, I could not ask the friend that I lost what happened because he's gone. So I cannot ask him. He cannot tell the story of what happened, what led to his death. Rather, I got explanations from others telling me about how it happened and wrong place, wrong time. However, the friend that survived told me that he had a visitor. Somebody phoned him to inform him that he was parked in front of his house and waiting for him. So that, in countries where you have electricity, I'm talking to people now who are in the zoo who don't understand what electricity, the kind of life electricity can give to you. Places where there is constant supply of electricity, most of the gates, for those who have gates, who have security gates, most of their gates are controlled electronically. Like you have a remote that you press and the gate opens up either vertically or horizontally. There are ones that just goes up and then, goes up. I'm talking about a gate that goes up and goes into some, I don't know how to define it, but I mean, yeah. And then those that slides to the side. So in places like that, where you find 24 hours electric supply, you enjoy life. So this friend had a visitor who parked in front of his house, called him so that he would open the gate and perhaps he would drive in or something. So, but before this guy could even get the remote, where the remote was to open the gate, he heard people screaming. He heard commotion outside. Something that sounded like people were fighting, serious fight. But to cut the long story short, he eventually went outside in order to stop the commotion, in front of his house. He looked out, he saw that it was the guy was involved, his visitor was involved with some other people. So in the process of stopping the fight, he came out and he was trying to stop the people from beating his friend. I mean, I'll tell you what led to that. One person from nowhere came with a beer bottle, and broke it on his head. The light almost went out of him. This person, at the end of the day, he started asking them, what happened? What is this fight about? And they said to him, this your friend was there when one of us was being beaten and he did nothing. He did nothing. Now, when I will come back to this statement, I'll come back to it because it's you might laugh at it, but in a way, I find those guys to be actually advanced in reasoning. I find them advanced because you cannot use your mind and you are somewhere, somebody is beaten, people are being someone is being subjected to torture or to some form of inhuman treatment, and you look away. You look away. That means your mind is not working properly. So they saw this guy and they said, oh, so yes, I remember you were there when we were being beaten and you did nothing. So they decided to beat him too. Since he felt like it is normal for others to do nothing, let's also show you what will happen to you if others do nothing. So they decided to beat him. When my friend came out, somebody who didn't know what was happening, who just came, saw the fight, broke a bottle on his head. And then eventually the person said, oh, I did not know it was you. I did not know it was you. So, he survived it. The point I am trying to make is that this is how life is. You are not guaranteed of tomorrow. Tomorrow is not yours. You do not know what tomorrow holds. You are not guaranteed of tomorrow, especially in the zoo. Because of the crime that is in the zoo, nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Nobody. But you have a responsibility to ensure that tomorrow the insecurity does not continue. You have a responsibility to reason Like these people attacked this guy because they said no. You were there when we were being attacked and you did nothing. Because they understand the consequences of doing nothing when you see others being persecuted. They understand it fully. That is why they said, let us teach you. Maybe you will learn. Maybe you will learn. Hence, I had said earlier on that even after being trained in the zoo, when we leave the zoo, we still go out with the zoo mentality. It is a programming. How do you stop it? We leave the zoo with the zoo mentality. So, it is not enough. It is not enough to leave the zoo. It is not enough to leave the zoo, to get Biafra. It is very, very important that we change how we reason. That when we hear that our brother or our neighbor or a stranger even, something is going wrong, something is wrong with a stranger, we go to help. Because if we do not help, it becomes a precedence. People see it becomes normal. People now see it as normal. Their lawlessness becomes the order of the day. Lawlessness becomes normal. So it is very, very important. It is very, very important. If we think properly, then we cannot let another person go through insecurity and we keep quiet. I read you the news where this man did not come out to welcome the dead man Buhari. And they are trying to, even Punch reported it. What's this word? I cannot remember the word to use. They reported it nonchalantly. Nonchalantly, as if it is normal. It is one of another day in the zoo. They did not even go ahead to understand why this man did not come out. How do you even expect somebody to come out to welcome you? Because in the zoo, lawlessness has become a norm. When you do not subscribe to lawlessness, you become a target. Like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was targeted by the zoo, by Nigeria government, because he said, we do not subscribe to lawlessness. It is very important that we leave the zoo, because the more we stay in the zoo, the more they damage our minds. Every institution in the zoo is designed to damage the minds of the people. Look at even the schools where people are supposed to have on the proper understanding, where people are supposed to, their IQs are supposed to be properly advanced, properly developed. Look at the schools. Look at the schools. Look at what is happening in the schools. Facebook is still working overtime. Facebook is working overtime. Facebook is working overtime. Facebook is dead already anyway. Facebook is dead already. I believe this is one of the problems with when you have a situation or a system that is not challenged, that doesn't have proper challenges, people decide that they can do whatever they want. That they can do whatever they want. Look at this news that happened in Port Harcourt. A gang leader butchered in Port Harcourt. A gang leader. In this day and age, with everything happening in Nigeria, somebody decide that being a member of a gang is what is profitable. What is it that people even benefit from it? Killing each other. It says a kingpin of Iceland. Oh, there is even one called Iceland. You are living in Nigeria. The name of your gang is Iceland. Are you okay? One of Rivers State's most dreaded cults. The name is, according to it says Precious Adiele, was Saturday night hacked to death by members of rival Debam in a gang war that also left yet unidentified elderly resident burnt dead in Gambia Street, Mile 2, Diobu, Port Harcourt. This is the type of life the zoo government want you to live. This. Cultists fighting each other. If cultists are not fighting each other, they are working for the government. Snatching ballot boxes. Doing, attacking their opponents for them. It is very important that we change our mindset, that we change how we reason. Some people have associations, secret societies to better their lives and to better the lives of their people. We used to have secret societies in our nation. We used to have secret societies in Biafra land. Not to go around killing people, but in promotion of our culture. In promotion of our culture. You teach a man how to be a man. The reason why they keep certain things secret is because the secret things are usually interesting. They are usually interesting. When it is secret. Nobody knows knows how these things are done and blah, 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 blah. The next thing you look at people, they feel that they are above the rest, and people become attracted to that organization. Some people operate this kind of association, not this kind anyway, to better the lives of their people. Look at Illuminati and the rest of them. I was opportune to receive information about Freemason, because where I used to live some years back, just the next 3 buildings away from me was their what do they call it again? Their temple. A Mason temple. You would not even know that is a temple. You would never know. Very quiet, very organized. And they don't even recruit just any, I want money. No. Because that is not the purpose. That is not it. Our own, it is always about money. Their mindset is focused on money. Even the musicians come out and all they talk about is Naje Chubego. You make all of that money and one useless police will open fire and you are dead. One useless army will open fire and you are dead. Even with all of the money you make, you drive on the road, before you get to a main road, your headache already, you have headache, serious headache. Serious headache. We must change our mindset. We cannot change our mindset unless we willingly reason. Willingly reason. We must understand that there is no need to be afraid, especially because anything can happen at any time. No one is guaranteed tomorrow, like I said. Why are we then living in Nigeria as if we are certain of tomorrow? Why do we live the kind of lifestyle that we are living as if we are guaranteed of tomorrow? So many people I know overseas, they don't like what is happening in the zoo, but what are they doing to change it? Nothing. You see the mindset of the people. Rather, let us go after money and have others fix it. Whereas what we do not like it, at the same time we are promoting the same thing that you do not like. You want a change of life, at the same time you are promoting the same thing that you want a change from. At the same time, you are not willing to make effort to change the situation because there are people you expect that are supposed to change the situation for you so that we can keep wallowing in self-pity and in our stupidity. Look at the Fulani terrorists invading and killing our people. Some of them did not even know anything about the Fulani agenda. They abduct, they rape, they disappear, committing all manners of crimes against innocent Biafrans. People who went to farm, who just went on their normal duties, their normal responsibility. Even those who stayed in their homes. But they became victims of these terrorists, even while in their homes. You could have been killed while driving a taxi in Owerri today. You could have been killed while walking around the streets of Warri today. Or any part of Nigeria, any part of the zoo, you could have been killed. Even as a passenger, you are not safe. Last week, like I said earlier, the Nigeria Army opened fire on a bus with people in it. Why will the government even say anything or do anything against such a person when they willingly recruit terrorists into their army? Isn't it Bello Toji, the terrorist from the north, that burnt a bus with people in it? I think that was January 2022, last year, if I'm not mistaken. Burnt the bus with over 50 people in it. Children, women, men. Burnt that bus, a bus with over 50 people, and these people burnt. Only few survived. Few jumped out. I don't know how they jumped out. I'm not even sure they are more than 3. The rest got burnt. And what did the government do? They gave this person a title. These are people that are collecting taxes in the north. These are people that are committing all manner of crimes against Nigerians. These are people who have been victimized over and over and over and over in Nigeria. Wrong place, wrong time, is it? Wrong place, wrong time. It happens every single day, isn't it? It happens every single day. You always have to run for your life. If it hasn't happened to you yet, are you waiting for it to happen to you before you understand? If people are rising up tomorrow, will you rise? As people are sharing this gospel, are you sharing it? What are you doing? Are you one of those who go out to complain without any solution? You know one thing, I don't like people who complain. I believe that you are not supposed to complain if you do not have a solution. You should keep quiet. Don't complain. Find a solution before you now have the right to complain. So are you tired of running? Are you not tired of running? Are you not tired of complaining of the insecurity in Nigeria and how you want to live? I was reading this news some time ago, and somebody in the Zoom media, they said this father said to the kid who got the visa to travel overseas not to come back home. That is the kind of mentality. According to this news, they said the father said, if anything happens to me, do not even come back. So you are encouraging this young man that there is no identity. Go and be a victim of racial segregation, because you are going into another man's land, and the man that you are going into his land understands that his parents fought, his forebears fought died for that land that you are coming, because it is now a land of milk and honey. Oh, you go there, you say, after all, my father said I shouldn't go back home. You lose your identity. You become a nobody. Your children become victims of the society where you have found yourself in. They become slaves in that society. Believe you me, there is nobody from Nigeria living overseas that really want to live overseas. If you give them what they are enjoying overseas in Nigeria, they will all go home. So if that is the case, now why is it that many who are overseas are not doing much to convert or to turn their home into the paradise where they are living? They overwork themselves, because if you go to, for instance, UK, what they are offering to their citizens, you don't expect them to offer it to you. You cannot expect them to offer you free housing. Actually, the free housing that they are offering their citizens, believe you me, you are the one paying for it. The rent that you will pay there for the housing, the bills that you pay there, you understand that you are not just paying for yourself. That is slavery. That is slavery. You escape from the zoo. You escape from Nigeria just to be a lifetime slave and contribute to the development of another person's nation as a slave. And you even give children to them to continue that slavery. Oh, you go there and the next day you give them 3 or 4 children. Your cousin gives them how many? The other person gives them how many? And they are also slaves. Anytime the police want to, they just put their legs on their neck and break their neck. They're on the road. What do you think will happen? You know how many blacks are killed over there? How many black slaves, how many black slaves do you see that survived slavery? After slavery, how many of them survived? Where are they? Where are those ones that were there in the West during slavery, that were shipped, transported to the West? Where do you think they are? We must be loyal to ourselves. We must change how we think so that we will be loyal to ourselves. Change how we reason. Change how we see things. Change how we process information so that we can be able to change our lives. Those who escaped from that bus, are you free? Where the army opened fire on the bus and killed somebody, are you free? Look at the attack that happened at Edo, the train. Those who became victims, did they know that they were going to die? Are you not tired of being a victim? Are you not tired of complaining? Are you not tired of running away? I am tired of living overseas, if you are not aware of. It doesn't matter how good life is overseas, it is not home. It is not home. It doesn't smell the same. It doesn't feel the same. And even those who own the land, no matter who they are, they still see you differently. They know their parents died, their ancestors died to protect their land. So they look at, every time I leave my house, I feel ashamed, honestly. Our ancestors died for the land of Biafra. They shed their blood for the land of Biafra. Just like these people, we are at their homes, their parents, their ancestors died to give them the life they have now. In Biafra land, are we not dying? We are dying. We are dying. They are killing us. When it is your turn tomorrow, will your death be meaningful? Will it just be another waste of life? Or will it be meaningful? Will it be meaningful? Our ancestors, those who died in 1967 to 1970, did not shed their blood for us to be living overseas and living our lands, living where their bloods are, where our ancestors are resting. They did not die for that. They did not die for us to live as slaves wherever, both in our land and overseas. Is the life that you are living how you are supposed to live? You wake up in the morning, go to work, go back home. That is if you survive it. For those who drink, you drink. For those who smoke, you smoke. You go on Facebook, you write, whatever. Whatever it is you do it. If you wake up the next day, you still go through the same process, doing it all over again. Is that enough? Is that the kind of life that you want for yourself? Is that the type of life that you want for your children? Is that the type of life that you want for those who will come in the next 30, 40, 50, 100 years? What type of life do you envision? Don't you want it to be said that in your time, this was when the zoo was brought to its knees? Because the people rose and said, no, we must be able to implement democratic principles. It doesn't matter what you want to do to us. We own the land. It doesn't matter how many military terrorists you bring. They recruited over 600 terrorists into the military, didn't they? And these are people like you. People like you. Are you not tired of living, doing the same thing over and over and over, only praying to God to change something? Isn't that insanity? They say insanity is doing something over and over, expecting different results. But they did not include the part where the person who is expecting different results is probably only praying. Is it enough? Is it enough? When is enough enough? It is not enough if you are not your own man or woman. It is not enough if you do not control your life. You can eat if you like, eat watermelon, eat green vegetable, eat all of this and all of that. One day the police will just open fire. You will have no control over that. And you die just like that. Just like that. Is it, when is enough enough? Is it enough living in the land where you call your own without living your own identity? You live in your land, but the identity you are forced on is not yours. Is that the kind of life we want? The kind of life where we wake up every day thinking of who next will be persecuted. Will it be my day today or not? Is that it? Is that the type of life that we want? The type of life where if you are not Fulani, then you have no part in Nigeria. Is that the type of life you want? Do you want the type of life where the youths went to Lekki Tollgate and they were killed by the military because the military knows that you will not do anything? That you do not have any bone to stand on? Is that the type of life you want? When do you want to actually live your life based on how you want it, not how the government wants it, not the money they borrow and they expect you to pay through your nose? When? Even if you think that you will live your life overseas, believe you me, you will not. You will not. You can never be free in another man's land. Never. When do you want to live your life based on how you want it? Not living in Nigeria where the country has placed a lead over your head. There is a point where you are not supposed to cross. There is a progress where you are not supposed to get over to. You become Ibeto, they bring you down. You become whatever you want to be, they bring you down. And these people, rather than face the problem head on, we run away. We run away. Now there is an opportunity. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has brought us an opportunity to fix this problem, to solve our problem, and to give us lives. This is an opportunity that we cannot allow to go to waste. The only way you can be guaranteed a good life, the only way you can be guaranteed 24 hours power supply, the only way you can be guaranteed good road networks, the only way you can be guaranteed good food, not the kind of cows that Fulani will sleep with and bring to your land. The only way that you will be guaranteed good hospital, good facilities, every other thing that you need for a good life is if you end the zoo. Because Nigeria don't think that you are good enough to have this good life. They don't think you are good enough to enjoy these things. How many times have you heard them say what the Igbos deserve is death? They think that saying is restricted to the Igbos. They think that they see you, a Yoruba, as you deserve life. Is that what you think? If they think you deserve life, why do you not have good roads? Why do you not have electricity? Why do you not have all of these things that will make life better? Why do you think that even though they have taken away the wolf from the east and they have left it there in Yoruba lands, only to congest the area and make it dirty? Is that for your own good? You really think it is for your own good? What is the benefit of all of that to you as a person? To you as a person, what is the benefit of that? You can do better. You can do better. The government is meant to protect you. The government is meant to give you a better life. The government is made to make you better, not to force you out of your home to be slaves to people who have held your ancestors, as slaves for hundreds of years. And at the same time, they have the guts to say that they always take care of their friends. You know, the Britain, they said they always take care of their friends. Now, where does that leave you? Where does that leave you? Nigeria is designed to take care of their friends. So I say it is not enough living your life based on what Nigeria government, what British government think, because they are the ones running Nigeria. It is not enough living your life based on what they think, because they think you are not good enough. They think you do not deserve, you are not deserving of a good life. You are not deserving to be treated like human. It is not enough living your life as a second-hand citizen, not even second, as a third-hand citizen. as a slave? Is that what you want to remain? I promise you that is not the way to live your life. That is not the way to live your life. But I will tell you the way to live your life. I read somewhere where somebody said something, if you do not stand up, you will never know how tall you are. You will never know how tall you are until you stand up. And it is not easy. Look at, for instance, let's use a child as an example. A child that is learning to walk, a child that is learning to run, a child that is learning to crawl. These are processes. Before you crawl, your body, your bones must be strong enough. Please, if you are on Facebook and you are being kicked out or whatever, please download the app. Download IPOB Community Radio app or Radio Biafra app. Please do that. Of course, we are on Facebook at Hello Motherland on Radio Biafra. That is one word. Hello Motherland. Sorry, that is a Facebook account. Hello Motherland, not one word. Hello Motherland on Radio Biafra. That's the Facebook account. We're also live on Radio Biafra on Facebook. Radio Biafra on Facebook. We're also live on IPOB Johannesburg, South Africa. That is also on Facebook. So you can share and listen to our program on Facebook. But I see that we are having problems with Facebook. So please do download the apps. Do download the apps. You have to invest in your mind. It is as simple as that. We must invest in ourselves if we want to develop ourselves. We should stop living the way others want us to live, especially those who have, since the beginning of our relationship, who have subjected us to nothing more than slavery. It is not the way to live your life. The way to live your life is to stand up for what you believe in. The way to live your life is to stand up for yourself. Because whether you know it or not, you deserve the good things in life. You deserve to live in the comfort of your home. You deserve a peaceful life. You deserve a government that takes care of you. You deserve a government that puts you first. You deserve people who will not recruit terrorists into the army to kill you. So like a baby who is learning to walk, you must resist the urge to fall. You must stand up for yourself and take what you want out of life. You cannot be afraid of standing if you want to stand. You cannot be afraid of standing if you want to run. You have to first of all stand. So it is time to stand up for yourself and take what you want out of life. They say they look out for their friends. They say they look out for their friends. Who is looking after you? Who is looking up for you? You should do the same. Look after the people who matter to you. Look after your friends. Look after your family. Look after your town. Look after your nation. Biafra is your nation. We must all rally together. We must all rally together under this leadership that is committed to restoring your dignity, that is committed to restoring your peace, that is committed to restoring life to you. Whether you are in Nigeria or not, I ask you to rise up and defend yourself and your loved ones. I ask you to rise up and speak, because most times we do not understand how much it is worth speaking about, because words are powerful. If you cannot, they say if you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But do not just do nothing. Because the only way that you can guarantee that you are taken care of. The only way that you can make sure that your children and those to come in years to come will be taken care of is when you take the bull by the horn, when you rise up and say, this is what I want. I want my voice to be heard. I want my rights to be implemented. I want the principles of democracy to be enforced. That is the only guarantee that you will be taken care of. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being tortured in the DSS dungeon for us because he rose up. He rose up for you. He rose up for me. Whether you are in the northern part of Nigeria, whether you are in the west, whether you are in the east, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu rose up for all of us. He is showing us that yes, you can be able to rise up. And the zoo is jittering. He is showing us an example how we must rise up for ourselves, how we must speak up for ourselves, how we must defend ourselves, defend our loved ones, and never let anyone take advantage of our goodness and turn it into weakness. Never. I understand that we would rather have peace than war. I would rather have peace than war. But what can I do when there is no choice? What can you do when there is no choice? When you have no choice, you defend yourself. There are several ways to defend yourself. If you can, employ all of them. Against these terrorists who have created a whole lot of insecurity, we must learn to defend ourselves against them. We have the ESN, wonderful, doing an amazing job. We must support them. It is a wonderful way to defend ourselves. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you are living in America with your family. Home is home. Home is home. Are you on your knees hoping that those who made your ancestors slaves will accept you and keep you alive for a day or two? A day or two until they decide that you are not good enough alive. Until they decide that even as a slave, you are better off dead. And perhaps the only useless, the only people that they will, like they have in our society right now, are those who do not care about your life. They just put them in a position where all they know is printed paper. Therefore, the only usefulness you will have to them is to water the ground with your blood and that of your generations to come. Yes, we want peace. You're a good man, no doubt. I have been forced, like millions of other Biafrans, to look for a better life outside home. I get that. I get you are forced to live somewhere else that is not home. But home is still home. And good men must defend their lives or they perish in stupidity. Must, or they perish in stupidity. I want to encourage every one of us. I want to encourage those who are doing the needful. I want to encourage every single person. And I want to tell you that there is never any time that we will say that we have had enough. No. No. We cannot get to a point where we say, you know what, we cannot go further. No. The only further that you cannot go is the further of lawlessness. We cannot keep going further in the place of lawlessness. But as long as we are fighting to keep alive, as long as we are fighting to protect our land, we cannot get to the point where we say, no, we have had we are done. No, we must continue. We must keep pushing. We must keep pushing until that freedom that we want, until that peace that we want, until we can sleep peacefully, until we can walk the streets peacefully without being afraid of police, being afraid of the army, being afraid of whatever, of terrorists. Until we get to that point, then the battle continues. I want to encourage every single person to remember our leader always, always, and never be afraid of your identity. Never be afraid of your identity. Wherever you are, wherever I go to, when I wear my IPOB beret, people see me. Those who do not understand it, they ask questions. Those who do not ask questions, they can see IPOB. Sometimes it has already permeated their subconscious. They will one day see it and one day understand it. Perhaps ask questions. We must tell our stories. And here I will leave it here. I have been on air longer than I normally do. So I want to bring this program to an end. I apologize again for not opening the lines. I have to correct whatever that is going on there before I open up the lines. But I am hopeful that very soon that will change. Perhaps by tomorrow we will reconvene here and we will be able to share thoughts. Thank you very much, great Biafrans. Thank you very much to all lovers of freedom, not minding where you are listening to me from, not minding where you are from. I thank you very much for the privilege of giving me your time and the privilege of listening. I want to encourage those who are working assiduously, every single person. I cannot stop appreciating you guys. I cannot stop appreciating you all. I encourage every single person. Every single time you hear that something bad happened to somebody, understand that it could be you next. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you are in Lagos or wherever, you must understand that it can be you next. It is time that we give ourselves a good life. It is time that we solve this problem. It is time to solve this problem. So I thank you very much for being part of this program this evening. I thank you all very much. From here, from me, it is good night. So I thank you very much for being part of this program this evening. I thank you all very much. From here, from me, it is good night. It is good night.
Before you, proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland world. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion. March on, young men. Before you, proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland world. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion. March on, young men.
night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom, and Happy New Year to all and sundry. This is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you via Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi Chinedu from Olu province of Biafra land. Today is the first day of January 2023, being Sunday. Obochi Orie. Therefore, without taking any time, I will hand over the platform to the head of the Directorate of States of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Mazi Chika Etosiem. Mazi, the platform is yours, sir. Go.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dearly, Mazi Jonathan. I'm sure you can hear me.
The whole world is hearing you as clear as crystal, sir. Go.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night to all of you on this very sunny day of the first day of January 2023. I bring to you great and wonderful Biafrans, lovers of freedom, and those who are sympathetic to the cause of the oppressed. I bring you a warm New Year's greeting from the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the Hamadike one of Biafra land, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who, as we know, is presently being illegally detained by the abominable contraption called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. Fellow Biafrans, fellow comrades, you that have remained undaunted, you that have remained devoted, those of you that have remained consistent to the fundamental objectives and guiding principles of this great those of you that this great movement to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, despite the challenges that you may have been confronted with, and those that have remained faithful to the structure he established. It is to you I bring warmest salutation and commendation for your exemplary courage and discipline, because without your courage, without your discipline, we, the indigenous people of Biafra, will not be where we are today, in fairness of the great and enormous progress and heights attained in our march to freedom. This year 2023, I am confident and I am assured will be a year that will mark the end of the suffering of the children of Chukwukabia. Today marks the 18th month and counting since Nigeria committed an international crime of extraterritorial kidnapping and extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide. June 19th, 2021 has gone down,
20 in history as a day of particularly,
for the Nigerian establishment and its colonized government. The Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra has left no stone unturned in our effort to unmask those behind this international crime together with their collaborators. And I can confidently and, of course, very grandly inform that our M branch has been able to identify those that has questions to answer in this regard to the Biafra people. The intel at our disposal revealed that certain persons were actually in direct communication with those that carried out this dastardly and evil crime. They were in communication with these evil men while our leader was still being held in Kenya. You can imagine that. You can imagine that they were communicating with those who committed this evil crime, and at the same time, at the same breath, they consciously and deliberately lied to the GOS that they had no knowledge, no prior knowledge of Onyendu's predicament prior to the 27th of June 2021, when the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra was finally brought to the zoo called Nigeria. We shall, of course, make their names public in due course because they have some very, very explaining to give to the Biafran people. We are also aware that notwithstanding the shenanigans and the cropped up charges against Onyendu, a man that has brought out himself for the freedom of his people, a man that heaven has ordained with an enormous and an onerous task to ensure that the children of heaven are extricated from the quagmire that is called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. We know that in October of last year, after all the efforts that they conspired to keep adjournments upon adjournment of this very case that has actually nothing in it. A case of someone who is exercising his right to self-determination, which, of course, we all know that it is an international, that it is a human right. Self-determination is a human right enshrined in charters and in documents that guard and guide international organizations such as the United Nations and the African Union. In October, the Appeal Court of Nigeria in Abuja, which, of course, their decision is expected when they have courage and they decided and ordered that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. He has no case to answer because he was exercising a right that is natural to every human being. And he ordered that he be released immediately. In fact, the court ordered for complete acquittal and dismissal of the trumped up charges against him. But as you all know, we are here today, the 1st January of 2023. You can count from October up to this moment. The Zoological Republic of Nigeria, of course, in its own way, known that it has no respect to rule of law, has refused to carry out the order of its own court has refused to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has continued to deny him his right, has continued to subject him to all manner of human degradation, torture, physically, mentally, and psychologically in the DSS dungeon in Abuja. We are saying this that the world may understand that, of course, there is a time and there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can bear. Also, in 2021, this great movement, we embarked upon a series of international campaigns for the freedom of the prisoner of conscience, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our campaign took us to the European Parliament, where we presented our matter like never before. And we know that those who are in charge in Europe, they know that the people of Biafra deserve better. But what they are lacking at the moment is the will to do the right thing. But they must also as well be aware that there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Corsica. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Buchamati 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Corsica, France. There we met and made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very supportive people of Catalonia that were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyanas. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And our case was very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, received the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafran people is given the international space which it deserves, and which I can assure Biafrans today that is being done without any hesitation. I also want to let Biafrans know that 50 years and counting. Some people will say 60 years and counting. At the end of the genocide committed against the Biafran people, we have been like the seed that was buried under the earth. And we have sprouted, we have grown beyond the imaginations of our enemies. And we know as well that those who hold us down, they are holding us down because they know who you are. And it is for us to do some real soul session and understand why have our case remained intractable, in the sense that nations are not willing to give the same right to the Biafran people which they have given to nations around the world. They have mentioned genocides that actually they are not 1% in comparison to the abominable, horrific, and horrendous genocide that was committed against the Biafran people. We have searched ourselves. Where did we go wrong? What have we done wrong? And we know that we have done nothing wrong. It is not our fault that we are Biafrans. It is not our fault that Chukwu Kabema has put us in the place where he called homeland for us. And therefore, having known and having seen that international relationships is guided and propelled by interests of nations, the interests of the Biafran people, as I speak to you, has found no outlet among those who are champions of human rights, those who claim to be champions of democracy, those who say that they are there to ensure that every man receives equal treatment and equal hearing. When it comes to the Biafran people, it seems always that the goalpost has always been moved to a different location. Why am I giving you this background? I am giving you this background, and I know that they are listening and they are hearing me. This 2023 will be a different year for the Biafran people. It will be a different year for us in our pursuit for freedom. It will be a different year for us in putting up alliances and making friends. Our diplomatic offensive will have no boundaries anymore. No more boundaries. We will seek out those nations. We will seek out those nations and countries with whom we will understand, or with whom we will have understanding, that we will both enter into a mutually beneficial relationship. Therefore, our diplomatic team will be up and running this very January and going forward. We will seek out nations and people that have listening ear to us, people that we can offer something and they can offer us something in return. A mutually beneficial relationship. It will no longer be a relationship where those who believe that they have the say will neglect our conditions, our needs, our desires, the desires of our people, will not even speak about the massacres that is going on a daily basis of our people. I can tell you as I speak to you today, up in the north, our youth have been taken. They are being forcibly taken away from their homes and moved to the northern region, Niger State specifically. Why are you moving people from one particular region into another region? The reason is simple. Our youth, they want to decimate the number of the Biafra youth through what we know, what we have found out from those who survived these horrors, organ harvesting. They take our youth up to the north and harvest their organs, their hearts, their livers, any organ that they believe they can move to the Western world and deplete our numbers and make their useless money out of the suffering of our people. I'm sure those diplomats in the zoo, the British diplomat, the American diplomat, the European representatives, these informations are on their table. Why are they not speaking about it? Because our life does not matter. But we want to tell them this year that our lives, of course, do matter. The lives of the Biafran people matter. And I am happy in the sense that heaven is smiling upon us this very day. It is a beautiful Sunday, the 1st of January. The sun is shining, and that is the way it will be for us as far as this struggle is concerned, because heaven will continue to smile upon us as we move ahead. 2022 was a mixture of positive and very sad moments for us. It is with a very heavy heart that I announce to the world and to the IPOB families worldwide that we lost a hardcore to the core. Mazi Oscar Okeke was our regional representative, our continental regional representative for the Asian continent. We lost men and women in the field. We lost also young men and young women, old and young, mothers and fathers of Biafra land, those who were massacred in Agatu in Enugu, those that Hope Uzodinma is killing in Imo State, those that Dave Umai is massacring in Ebonyi State, and those that the new governor of Anambra State, Chukuma Soludo, is also decimating in Anambra State. We lost these men. What their crime? Their crime is nothing but because they are Biafrans. Their crime was nothing only because they were seeking for freedom. Freedom that is a right to every human on this very planet. Why will our own case be different? Therefore, I urge you and I crave your indulgence. Great Biafrans, we will observe this very moment 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our fallen heroes and heroines. We will observe 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our operatives and all the genuine Biafrans who have lost their lives in 2022. 2 minutes silence, please. May the spirit of our great heroes and heroines, the spirit of those who paid the ultimate price for this very noble cause, May their spirit never rest until those who are complicit in their death also receive their recompense from the hand of Chukwuabiama and from the hands of our ancestors. May their spirit never rest until we achieve in their honor this quest for the freedom of the Biafran people. In Chukwuabiama's name, I have prayed. He said, Great Biafran, recollect that last year we encouraged our people to invest in animal husbandry and agriculture. We saw ahead of time and we knew what was coming, and we took the bull by the horn. We specifically directed them to invest in the rearing of our native cow. And I can gladly inform the Biafran people that from the feedback we have received thus far, the information at our disposal, we have reasons to believe that that directive was very timely, very, very timely, and our people have continued to move away from the consumption of Fulani disease and infected cows. It is true, we have not gotten to the point where we want to be yet, but gradual and seeable and announced progress have been made in this area. I can tell that as we speak, that this past season of Christmas and New Year, our people had the opportunity, even youths and children who never saw how and what a people look like, what our native cow looked like. They have the opportunity to have seen it, and people have used and are using that very, very blessed animal for their occasions, ceremonies, and festivities. Our objective in this regard is to ensure that by the end of this year, in fact, in the next 24 months, our meat needs as it concerns the consumption of cow will be taken care of 70% through the production of these very native cows. The rest, meat need of the Biafran people, the 30%, will be made up by the rearing of our local goats, the rams, the fowl, the chicken that is part of it, the fish farms, and of course the bushmeat that we are also blessed with in our land. Also, we know that our leader set up the Eastern Security Network when it became very obvious that those who had the responsibility to protect their people, those who love to be called elders, leaders, political intelligentsia, and all whatnot, they relinquished their responsibility when our people were falling victim and being chased in their farmlands, our farms being destroyed, our people being massacred, our women being defied and decapitated in our land, the land being desecrated. These men who rather will hide under the wrapper of their wives, they said nothing, they did nothing. They did nothing. They watched their people being massacred and they could not raise a finger. It was not as if our leader did not bring this sorry situation to their attention. He did, as he always brought it to their attention and pleaded with them to set up a mechanism that will protect our land and protect our people. They turned him on and on and on, and they did not. ESN was born out of necessity. ESN was created for a very, very important and single objective: the protection of the Biafran territory, the protection of the Biafran land, the farmlands and forests, and of course, the protection of the Biafran people. This outfit is our defense shield, and this outfit has come to stay. The authorities of this very, very outfit, they are a disciplined crop of Biafran men and women trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafran farmlands, forests, and bushes against invading Fulani headsmen. I wish to repeat this. These men and women, these very hardcore men and women who have in fact denied themselves all comfort, they were trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafra land, safeguarding our farmlands, our forests, and our bushes, and our women, and our men, of course, from and against the invading Fulani headsmen. This outfit was not set up for any other activity or any other people, what people may be imagining. We know the propaganda going on in the Zulu media. These are distractions. For the avoidance of doubt, therefore, these men and women, they put their lives on the line. They put their lives on the line to make sure that the lives of Biafrans are secured, and therefore cannot, will not, now, tomorrow, or ever do anything or engage in any form of criminal activity in whatever shape or of whatever nomenclature. The battle that is going on and being, propagated against the Eastern Security Network is for one purpose. I can remember when I addressed the Biafran people at the very beginning of the challenge that we have faced ourselves. The challenge I'm talking about is the crime committed against our leader. I told the Biafran people that the enemy, that the agent provocateur that they brought in our midst, they have 4 objectives. Their first objective is to destroy, demonize, and destroy the leadership. We thank you for his message, because we are standing and unwavering. Second, they want to make sure that they destroy our media outlet. That Radio Biafra, that hallowed platform, that place that Onyendu has given us the truth, preached to us, that hallowed platform where he has exposed the evil of the zoo and all their collaborators in Britain and the other Western world. They wanted to shut us off. They wanted to close Radio Biafra London, and we know what happened sequentially. But also, again, I thank Chukwuka because he is fighting our battle. Thirdly, they want to serve this movement of funds, because we know in a freedom fighting, yes, you will have the men, you will have the women, you will have those who volunteer and dedicate their life, but together with all this, funding is essential. It's imperative if any freedom fighting movement wants to succeed. They attacked our finances. They turn people, or they try to turn people away from contributing to this noble cause. They raised in the name of ESN and in the name of IPOB uncountable, or they organized, let me put it this way. Of course they raised, we know, but they organized uncountable fundraising in the name of, and in order to put fatigue in our people, in their honest and truthful desire to support financially. And I can assure you as well that they have failed. They have failed because 18 months and counting, we are where we are. We have made more progress than they can even imagine. And the hardcore are not going anywhere. Finally, their target was the Eastern Security Network, which is the ongoing battle. Their target is to demonize Eastern Security Network. Their target was, and still is, to term Eastern Security Network as a criminal outfit. Their target is to spread the narrative that these very honorable men and women engage in all manner of crimes, all manner of evil against their own people. How can that be? How can it be that men who lay their lives down on the line for their people will turn against them and begin to harass them? That is not why the Eastern Security Network was set up. The Eastern Security Network, of which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is its supreme commander, as he is also the supreme leader of this movement, cannot engage in any criminal activity in the hallowed land of Biafra. Any man or any authority that derails and goes out of the core duty of safeguarding our land and our people, the land of Biafra, of course, and the spirit of our ancestors, will not give that person a chance. He will not even live to tell the story. Great Biafra and lovers of freedom, it is from this very humble beginning of about 50,000 operatives of the Eastern Security Network, I can proudly tell you that we have now not less than 200,000 men and men who are ready and willing to defend our ancestral land and our people. We have these men, and they know why they have become part of this very elite outfit. And with this, I want to tell Biafrans today, the 1st January of 2023, that no one will enter our community anymore. Enter our community again and massacre our people, kill our people without The provocateur that they brought in our midst, they have 4 objectives. Their first objective is to destroy, demonize, and destroy the leadership. We thank you for Kikabiyama for his message, because we are standing and unwavering. Second, we will begin this very year, and let's not forget, please, all IPOB family members. Of course, we have observed 2 minutes silence today, but as you start your first meeting of the year, Continental Rails, please pass this information and this directive across to every national coordinators and all national coordinators parties that are around and across, down to all your zones and all your units. Before we commence any meeting for the year, 2 minutes silence. Two minutes silence. Together with all of this, funding is essential. It's imperative. If any freedom fighting movement want to succeed, they attacked our finances, they turn people, or they try to turn people away from contributing to this noble cause. They raised in the name of ESN and in the name of IPOB uncountable. Or they organize, let me put it this way. Of course they raised, we don't know. But they organize uncountable fundraising in the name of, and in order to put fatigue in our people, in their honest and truthful desire to support financially. And I can assure you as well that they have failed. They have failed because 18 months and counting, we are where we are. We have made more progress than they can even imagine. And the hardcore are not going anywhere. Finally, their target was the Eastern Security Network, which is the ongoing battle. Their target is to demonize Eastern Security Network. Their target was, and still is, to term Eastern Security Network as a criminal outfit. Their target is to spread the narrative that these very honorable men and women engage in all manner of crimes, all manner of evil against their own people. How can that be? How can it be that men who lay their lives down on the line for their people will turn against them and begin to harass them? That is not why the Eastern Security Network was set up. The Eastern Security Network, of which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is its supreme commander, as he is also the supreme leader of this movement, cannot engage in any criminal activity in the hallowed land of Biafra. Any man or any authority that derails and goes out of the core duty of safeguarding our land and our people, the land of Biafra, of course, and the spirit of our ancestors, will not give that person a chance, he will not even live to tell the story. Great Biafra and lovers of freedom. It is from this very humble beginning of about 50,000 operatives of Eastern Security Network, I can proudly tell you that we have now not less than 200,000 men and men who are ready and willing to defend our ancestral land and our people. We have these men, and they know why they have become part of this very elite outfit. And with this, I want to tell Biafrans today, the 1st January of 2023, that no one will enter our community anymore. Enter our community again and massacre our people, kill our people without order that Mazi Kanu has no case to answer. He has no case to answer because he was exercising a right that is natural to every human being. And he ordered that he be released immediately. In fact, the court ordered for complete acquittal and dismissal of the trumped up charges against him. But as you all know, we are here today, the 1st January of 2023. You can count from October up to this moment. The Zoological Republic of Nigeria, of course, in its own way, known that it has no respect to the rule of law, has refused to carry out the order of its own court, has refused to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has continued to deny him his right, has continued to subject him to all manner of human degradation, torture, physically, mentally, and psychologically in the DSS dungeon in Abuja. We are saying this that the world may understand that, of course, there is a time and there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can bear. Also, in 2021, this great movement, we embarked upon a series of international campaigns for the freedom of the prisoner of conscience, Mazi Kanu. Our campaign took us to the European Parliament, where we presented our matter like never before. And we know that those who are in charge in Europe, they know that the people of Biafra deserve better. But what they are lacking at the moment is the will to do the right thing. But they must also as well be aware that there is a limit to the people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Costa. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Wutamati 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Costa, France. There we met and made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very, very, very supportive people of Catalonia, they were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyaners. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, received the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafran people is given the entire national expectations it deserves. And of these very great movements in this very year, we begin thus. I was saying as well that last year, and in fact, immediately after our leader was kidnapped and renditioned extraordinarily back to the zoo, many joined into this very movement for all that plan did not succeed and it will not succeed. Now going forward, we will begin this year with the renewal of our oaths at all levels. IPOB family members, continental reps, national coordinators, zonal unit coordinators, put the mechanism in place so that every hardcore IPOB family member must renew his or her oath to work assiduously and there will be some processes or procedure that must be followed in doing this. The oath must be taken without shoes and without cap on the head of any man that wishes to take this oath. No shoes for the man or woman, with no cap for the men as they take this very oath during the oath-taking ceremony. The oath must as well be administered by coordinators at all levels and on individual basis, please. Not on a chorus basis, not on a group basis. Everybody will be saying the same thing at the same time. No. Individually, each man must stand by himself. Each man must stand, no shoes on your feet, for the man, no cap on your head, and you take the oath as the coordinator will lead you in doing this oath taking. In addition to the renewal of the oath of present IPOB family members, any new prospective IPOB family, any new person wishing, desirous of being part of this very movement, part of this family, must undergo this oath-taking process before one is deemed to partake in our meetings and, of course, to be part of this noble family. Also, I know, and the leadership has deliberated upon this. We are aware that some amongst us, some of little faith, I would say, lost their bearing at a moment when we were confronted with this enormous challenge and challenges that came our way. These among us lacked the requisite discipline that is needed to face down the enemy with unwavering focus and dedication. We say we are without fear before our enemies. Freedom fighting is not a tea party. And if you cannot stand your ground, if you move, your place or your ground will be taken over by your enemy. Therefore, many lacked that requisite discipline, that requisite conviction, that unwavering dedication and focus, and they fell easily to the fraud of the agent provocateurs. They allowed themselves to be cajoled and deceived by these agent provocateurs because they took their eyes of the ball of the Biafran restoration project, the ball of the freedom of the Biafran people, the ball of the liberty and the restoration of our core value systems. They forget why they joined this very movement in the first place. It is because they took their eyes off the ball and went out of the line. They offended the spirit of Biafra land. And upon that, they urinated upon the graves of our gallant heroes and heroines, past and present. These, and I'm talking about those who may have, or who have genuinely and honestly and truthfully realized the wrong path that they took. And we know that they have learned a lesson in a bitter way. And also that the offended spirit of Biafra and our ancestors are willing to pardon those amongst them that honestly and sincerely wish to come back to the family. However, there will be a procedure to follow as well in readmitting those that were suspended for insubordination, and each case will be treated on its own very merit. The procedure will be made available through a memo from my office to the continental reps, and then they will pass it on to their subordinates. This year again, as we are pursuing to ensure that our people they have their food sufficiency in terms of meat consumption. We know as well that food security is a national security question for all nations and all people. And for us, it is not only a national security matter, it is as well an existential question for the Biafran people. And in recognition to this, we are today as well calling upon our people to embark upon agricultural revolution in our land. We have heard the northern people not once, not twice, not three times. Time and time and again, they will say that they are stopping food produced in the northern part of the zoo from coming down to our region, to our land, to Biafra land. I'm sure we are not stupid. Even when they send some of those food they produce, how sure are you that they did not poison them as they poisoned them during the war? Therefore, we cannot leave our faith in the hands of our enemies. Those we know, they hate us with passion. Those we know, they will not bat an eyelid to wipe us out of the face of the earth. I call upon all of you, young men and women, those who have concluded or rounded up their studies and you have no work at the moment. Stop going from one office to the other. Go and take a small portion of land and begin this revolution, because it will start in a very small way before it will grow into the behemoth that it will be in the coming months and years. The IPOB leadership in this regard and in this vein therefore have set up another department in the IPOB departmental structure, the agricultural department of the indigenous people of Biafra. The details will not be made public here, but my appellation, my message to all of you in Biafra land today, this year, we will embark upon the farming of such basic foodstuffs and crops like rice, yam, cassava, maize, corn, and vegetables. The rest will come in gradually. But when you want to start any of you, take one of these that I mentioned now, and give it your time, give it your energy. Believe that this is your project and make it to succeed, because you will then become part of the history that will be written about the Biafran agricultural revolution in the coming years. Great Biafran people, we are entering into this year with great hopes and great expectations, and one of which is what every peace-loving person, men of conscience, women of conscience, people that love liberty and freedom are expecting. The release of our leader, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The zoo have no option. The zoo have no option. The British authorities, they abandoned their citizens. The American authorities, nobody is speaking about this crime against humanity that has been meted upon this very young man. The European Union, they are not speaking. The African Union is nowhere to be found, neither is the ECOWAS. Nobody can hear, nobody can see them. Their silence is as loud as it is unheard. But be encouraged. Be encouraged, great Biafrans, because heaven is with us. Heaven is with us, and Chukwabiyama is about to do great things in the land of Biafra and in the life of his children, the Biafran people. I have 3 announcements to make. And it's as follows. The following new responsibilities are hereby confirmed. Mazi Emmanuel Onyekwu is hereby appointed the new IPOB National Coordinator for Zoo Nigeria, and he replaces Mazi Subai Goodluck Jonathan. Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem. Mrs. Chikwem is the new national coordinator for IPOB family in the United Arab Emirates. Mazi Kennedy Uchenna Wa Ede will deputize for Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem for the IPOB family in UAE. The Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB Suriname, Mazi Chukwu Winitem Ezi Echina. Mazi Chukwu Winitem Ezi Echina, the Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB in Suriname, should, as a matter of urgency, contact the IPOB South American Continental Representative and act accordingly as he will be instructed by the Continental Rep. Let me hasten to add that he, Mazi Echina, has a 7-day timeline to do this, to make this contact and to carry out instruction that will be passed down onto him, after which the leadership will take very necessary actions. This year will also be a year that will come with very strict adherence to IPOB guiding rules and principles. Very strict adherence to IPOB guiding principles and rules. Our fundamental objectives must be pursued unwaveringly and without further distraction. Therefore, IPOB coordinators at all levels are administrative officers of IPOB. IPOB coordinators at all levels around the world. You are the administrative officer. You are, in fact, the one in charge of the family that you coordinate, be it a unit, a zone, a state, a nation, or a country. And this is in consonance with our chain of command, from which begins from the unit level to the continental level of all the continents we have in the world. These coordinators and representatives, they are therefore forthwith precluded from having any meeting with the officers of the finance department without the express and prior approval of the continental rep under whose area of authority a particular country falls into. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that if you're a coordinator, you coordinate our family. If you have in your executive a finance officer who is an executive of within your executive, a person, this is the person that the people in the finance department will be dealing with, in the sense that the finance department cannot call you to a meeting or order you to come to a meeting for any reason from today without the express approval and the authorization of the continental rep of the country that may be of particular interest with the finance department. And this order must be followed without any disregard, because there will be very consequences that we follow if there is any disregard to this very order today. Things must be done as they should be done, and no one will be allowed to bastardize this very structure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has put in place. All the names and new responsibilities take immediate effect, and every family member in the areas mentioned, please accord due respect to all these officers, due support, so that they can effectively and efficiently carry out their responsibilities. I want to state again that these appointments that were announced on the 9th of September 2022 has not been revoked and therefore still stands. I'm going to repeat these appointments that was made on the 9th of September 2022, and they are as follows. Mazi Mike Ezebiro was appointed the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator. Mike Ezebiro was appointed by this leadership as the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator, and that stands. Mazi Mike Wenze was appointed the local government coordinator for IPOB Nnewi North. These appointments stand. Mazi Chukwu Neta was appointed IPOB Obaru Local Government Area Zonal Coordinator by this leadership. These appointments stand. And Mazi Noel Okomo, the former secretary of Omaba, IPOB Omaba Owanyang Zone, was appointed as well the zonal coordinator for this very unit in Biafra land, and this appointment stands. Please, Biafra land national coordinator, Anambra State coordinator, take note. Take note, please. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of discipline at all levels of our structure. Every principal servant of this movement, every principal officer of the indigenous people of Biafra must report to her immediate superior. Our command and control principle is an indispensable and integral tool in our operations and for our successes so far, for that matter. Therefore, nobody should toil or play with this very principle. There is no middle way. As we move ahead, there will be no middle way. Either you are in or you are out. Wonderful Biafrans, friends, and lovers of freedom, may Chukwu Kabiama take the place of honor in our journey to freedom. May He guide our feet in only one direction, the road to a free, sovereign, and independent Biafran nation. May He strengthen all true and honest IPOB family members worldwide. And above all, may Chukwu Abia, the Creator, the maker of the seen and the unseen, and may our ancestors guide, protect, direct, and lead Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our supreme leader, the leader of the Biafra people. Thank you for listening on this very day, the first day, January 2023. Long shall Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lead. Long shall you, IPOB hardcore family members, ESN authorities, long shall you live, and long live Biafra and the rising sun.
Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is once again Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you through the auspices of Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi, Jonathan Chinedu from our province of Biafra land. And today is the first day of January 2023, being Sunday, Obochi Orie. Without taking any much time, I will hand over the platform to our First Lady, Lolo Uchechi Kanu, to address Biafrans and lovers of freedom on this New Year Day. Lolo, please, over to you. Go on, ma'am.
Thank you, Mazi. There we go. Great people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, wherever you are today under the sound of my voice, I say Happy New Year to you all. I say good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you, depending on where you're listening from. I bring you greetings from the great colossus of our time, our indefatigable and indomitable leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Ohamadike I of Biafra land. The message is to follow as he leads. Remain as strong as he is and unshakable as he remains, as formidable as he is. And he reminded that you remember his words, that he will not fail you, but the ball is in your court, not to fail him. Ogadirayim mata, Ogadirayim ma. echi na-abịa abịa ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma n'Eke, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma n'Orie, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma n'Afọ, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma na Nkwọ. Dịka ụbọchị taa bụ Orie, ka o wetara anyị ihe ọma, ahụ ọma, ahụ isi ike na ikikere nke anya ime mmụọ, ka anyị nwee ikikere ịhụ ihe ezoro ezo, to see and understand, and to also hear and understand. I will, as always, try to be as precise and concise and plain as I can possibly be. Our HOD has spoken very well today. It is also left for you to digest and understand his message. And if you do not understand the fused sentences, please ask your brother, ask your sister, a lawyer friend, a doctor friend, whoever is versed in understanding, to break these messages down for you. I am here today to bring you the message of our leader, to reiterate the importance of his teachings, which points at the reasoning pattern of our people. I will not waste our time. Nihina ogologo akụkọ ekwu okwu too much ọ na-ebute nchefu. Ekwu too much brings you a situation where the brain gets saturated and information gathered becomes useless. So it is our responsibility in 2023 to start to stimulate the part of the brain which incorporates the combination of our level of consciousness and reasoning, called the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, it is one of the 4 lobes in the brain. There are different parts, and each part with an honor. So the burden of our people, I have come to say, is when Onyenduanye continues to say the black man reasons in a very, very low frequency. He keeps pointing at the reasoning capacity of a black man. That is the part of the brain. It is the frontal lobe. It enhances your understanding and the level of your reasoning. The frontal lobe, amongst other parts of the brain, is the area which enables the cognitive process to take place. That is where your understanding comes from. That is where the analysis and critical thinking and that ability for you to reason and plan, that is where it takes place, the frontal lobe. Over the few centuries, there has been an apparent show of an acceptance of subjugated reasoning. In Africa, every Francophone and Anglophone colony have specific differences which either portrays the French or the British culture, which makes them respond and conform to the benefit of their colonial masters. Let us take Igbo landing, for example. The Igbo landing event, I believe our people, they understand history, so I try as much as I can not to keep talking about the histories, but rather take it to expatiate or make clarifications of my meanings. So the Igbo landing event was a prime example of those who refused to conform to an unfamiliar way of reasoning, which was being imposed on them. That right there was a great difference in attitude between those who were originally enslaved and generations that have followed, who gradually allowed their thinking to be subjugated. So to enact a change, which is what today is about, we come into 2023. What I got a church 31st of December, and then when I was in secondary school, I would get a piece of paper, I would write all my resolutions. The next year I will be this person, I will do this, I will do that. I always had one resolution conversation all the time, how to change to talk to somebody, because I am known to be too, I'm front. I will tell it to you as it is. So, and our people, we misconstrue being told the truth and being insolent. They mix it up together. Because you're older than me doesn't mean I can't tell you what you're doing wrong. And that is why our people are where they are today. So as you come into 2023, what have you got on your slate? What is the new situation you want to find yourself in? What is the new clothing you want to put on? What do you intend to leave behind as 2022 has come and gone? Do you want to remain in the same abject poverty of the mind? We have allowed the poverty of the mind to determine how we behave, to determine how we interact with our brothers and our sisters. So to enact the change, what I come here with today is that frontal lobe. We need to train it. It has to be trained. It has to be exercised and stimulated with simulations. What do I mean by that? Create and play scenarios. Like I say, find your brother who is more versed in understanding and let them break down this for you. You have to understand, because understanding is what leads you from a lower place to a higher place. I am an Aga church. That's why you Bible say you get understanding. So in getting understanding, or rather get knowledge, get wisdom. In everything you get in this life, make money, do everything, but in all, get understanding. So you have to get someone who would explain further if you do not understand what I'm trying to say today. Because if we change the way we think and reason, then our situation will change. So create and play scenarios. What I mean by that, if I movie, you create different in a movie. Don't just think in that line. Do something they call what if analysis. So do a what if analysis and say, for somebody else to say. I'm just trying to break it down so everybody would understand where I'm coming from. So don't just see a picture and that is a picture. You have to come from a diverse perspective in order to arrive to what you're looking at. In 2023, cleanse yourselves from the clutches of a trapped frontal lobe, that part of the brain that helps you to reason, that processes your cognitive pattern. Cleanse yourself from that clutches of the trapped frontal lobe. As people are more comfortable when you are in such position, one of the dangers of an untrained frontal lobe is the perception of issues from an emotional standpoint and getting on the bandwagon of mantras which are wrongfully comprehended, which subsequently exudes foolishness and has brought us into a quagmire of a non-collective approach and an ununified stance. A very good example, we keep talking about and making noise. Everybody's jumping. But you have a lot of our people take that mantra to simply mean a lack of leadership amongst our people. However, what it simply means is that the evil person does not conform to sentiments or emotions, but rather are able to question any narrative which portrays us as Republicans. We keep shouting we are Republicans in nature, we don't even know the meaning. Elohim, we don't even have no clue what it is. that frontal lobe is dormant. It's not active. The incorrect interpretation of Iwewenze is the reason we cannot work together as a community or group to achieve a desired purpose, because there is always a group within a group within another group, and that is the reason any criminally minded person can easily penetrate any evil group and cause confusion to fester by introducing false narratives which our people easily conform to. You can also, when you look, you can also spot the hypocrisy of the ill-comprehended mantra. You said in Iwewenze, you can't tell me what to do. We are Republican in nature. But you pick a leader. And then when you get the leader, your next plot is how to form another line of leadership. Yes, Iwewenze. Your next plot is to form another line of leadership within and create your own group, which when created, you cannot have your own objective. You don't have yours. You want to achieve, you have no objective you want to achieve, you can't create any, but you spend your time maligning the group you just broke out from because you have a hunger for power and control, which of course eventually, that is as starting as the sun rises in the east, you will come down. Eventually you will fall because you started off on the wrong premise. Look around you. Let's use our frontal lobe. Activate it, stimulate it. Those parts of the world with a workable hierarchical structure. Dubai, for example, which is very close by, what I mean by close by, people go there often. They have a better sense of direction than our people. Howbeit, we have a better leverage of individual resources, which if combined, will dwarf Dubai in every area. But what do we do? What do we do instead? You go to Dubai, you snap pictures, you buy one and two things and return home, and then oppress your brother and sister who can barely feed 3 square meals a day and ask, who are you? You go on social media and feign your miserable life to those who know nothing about you. You need to have your frontal lobe checked and stimulated. Change the way you think, and you will change the outcome of events around you. I would have cited Abraham Lincoln as the only person I revere as a Republican. He was a great Republican, but that is too far from us. So I will give an example that is closer home, that is closer to home. And that would be the great man, Dr. Sam Mbakwe, as his soul continues to rest in peace. Was a great Republican, albeit his second term administration was interrupted by Muhammad Buhari's 1983 coup. That would be a different analysis for another day. We also jump on that mantra. We are Republican in nature. You don't even understand the intricacies. Republicans think and act on behalf of the future generation, not for their immediate financial gratification, or try to ingratiate their way and self into other people's life by bribing them or doing whatever. Republicans protect their own from oppressors, from hunger, and the deprivation of adequate infrastructure. That is what Republicans do. They do not kill their own or cause mayhem and bloodshed in their land and against their own people. There are also dangers of emotional evaluation of issues, but that will be a topic for another day, where we let emotions, when your emotions push you, you act irrationally, you will make mistakes, you will not see. You cannot ask me about Hannah. So, like when I lost my mother, and when I cry, I like to cry in my closet, like wail and weep. But when I cry in the crowd, I cannot see, and I need to see. So when you act out of emotion, you act foolishly. You end up looking at your foolish person. We have to leave our emotions and put on our thinking cap. Like I said, that will be a topic for another day. So if this can be achieved, if we can activate, stimulate our frontal lobe, come the end of 2023, we shall all have a more refined and unified perspective. Because I won't nowhere. You're going nowhere. You keep cycling. You take again around, circling. The other fool I jump on for a long time. I have a quote out of in one of the times that I sit and tap into my consciousness. And I found that there are things known for people who just see things and know. And there are things unknown for people who can't just understand. Some people is right there looking at them in the face and they don't even understand what they're looking at. That other part of the brain, we'll talk about it in the future, is not activated as well. That tells you what object we're looking at and sends the information. So there are things known and there are things unknown, and in between these things, it is the door of deception. That is the problem of our people. Perception. Understanding. It is very important. Like I said, our HOD has said it all. I don't want to take too much of our time. I want us to have what he said and what message you're listening to today to stick in your head. You can come back to these very broadcasts and listen to it. Let it be the light onto your path and recycle the information. Keep listening to it and finding the holes where you need to feel and how you need to activate your frontal lobe, because that is the main problem here. In conclusion, we now understand the functions of the frontal lobe and the importance of its stimulation. That is the problem. If you have your frontal lobe working, it will not take you one week. When I give you the biological structure and process of a structural and functioning system, it took you 1 week to understand. But you have no idea what I'm talking about. You're busy talking rubbish rather than staying within the context. Your frontal lobe is not developed. It's half-baked. And you need to activate it. So you know, when you do not use an object, for example, when you go away or travel for maybe over years, and there is no one cleaning up a room or your house, or you have a particular room in your house where you barely use, over time you would get a whiff of damp. You know, when you walk into the room, there's this damp whiff you get. Each time you try to access the room, you would, except you clean that room. And that damp smell is repulsive. And this means that when that frontal lobe is not activated, your utterances and your demeanor will be repulsive. Nobody will take you seriously. Nobody will take you seriously. You will be jumping from one post to another. Hey, 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 ha, ha, off it. The way some people take off it, and you're looking at the person bringing the message off it. Is it how bad your brain has developed, or is this how bad your brain failed to develop? Is claiming they attended school. Off again. You cannot sit down. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. It's so you're lazy. You cannot stimulate it and use it to analyze and ask questions. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. You don't know that a man who is in captivity of a government can have access and send message through his attorney to his wife, and he can have communication with his wife, and his wife has gone to see him. Your frontal lobe is not thinking. Your frontal lobe is filled with cling film and dumped in the freezer. My little son would tell you the animals that live in Antarctica, what characteristics they have, what they put on to enable them to stay warm in that -5 degrees cold temperature. But you let your brain fall in there and it's sleeping. It's sleeping. It can't be helped. Wake up and use your frontal lobe. Because you have a home to go back to. We need our home to get where we are today. It's not our home. You know, around them doors or give me noise. Rubbish. You have to protect your fatherland, your motherland. So nobody will take us seriously if we continuously behave in this repulsive manner. This is what happens when that part of the brain is not stimulated. Your reasoning capacity, when that part of the brain remains unstimulated, the reasoning capacity becomes repulsive. Subsequently, most people from the lower hemisphere, or in this specificity, I would use the word sub-Saharan Africa, they fail to respond accordingly to the information being passed across, thereby weakening that ability over time. So when you don't use that part of the brain, it becomes inactive. It weakens. You can't reason for yourself. You want someone to reason and interpret it for us. That is why we have allowed people who do not understand the ways of God. He's not even meant for you to understand. People who do not understand the inception of what Christianity is all about, and understand the calling, who God has called and who God hasn't called. Everybody falls under the voice of somebody who is confused, someone who has a mental disorder, and you say, my pastor, he said. I am not against pastor or anything, but we need to be able to understand the difference between what God wants for us and what somebody wants. Be able to discern for yourself. You let someone read the Bible and interpret rubbish for you, and you let someone sit on social media and talk rubbish, and you can't. Your brain is tired. I don't know if it's the poverty or I don't know what the problem is. But whatever the problem is, you know what they call prayer point? We need to use this frontal lobe as for those of you, I go for can be change. I am a Hindu. You pray. What people need to understand is the logos, is the similar thing, is the similarity. Every mones na Chineke adịghị, mones na Chineke, mones na n'ọgbakọ ọ na-efe. They all have one thing in common. What is that? The logos. And what is that? Is the word. Your tongue is your oracle. You speak. You speak in the affirmation that this is how I want this. You tap into the consciousness of your being. I look at some people and I laugh. You don't know the power you wield as a human. Tap into that realm of spirituality. We mix a lot of things up and everybody's confused. Let's go back to the ways of our forefathers. Have finished on. They turned Africans, the sub-Saharans especially, to Dundee. Everyone becomes his own rubbish. You bag PhD, you think when you speak here, you know what I mean? That means you're intelligent. No? Or when someone says, yacht, I don't want to say yacht, it's not yacht, it's yacht, therefore you're more intelligent. Your frontal lobe means stimulating. What we need is, you need your franca-lingua, you need some basic mathematics that will help you add 1 and 2. And then you need all other things, physics, whatever. Talk in your lingua franca. If you have to. English language, therefore you're intelligent. You're not. You need to work on your frontal lobe. Okay? That's what you need. This is the main reason Africans are easily swayed in the most obvious situations. You can see the apparent truth. No, you can't, because you can't critically analyze what you're looking at. You fall for it. We need to effectively manage perceived information, ensuring that whatever is presented to us is critically analyzed and evaluated to ensure that it conforms to appropriate understanding within our knowledge base. That is why we're different from monkeys. It doesn't mean that monkeys can't do the things we do. They do it. You need to see a monkey washing a plate. He washes the plate, but he washes it differently from how the human does it. When your frontal lobe is stimulated and developed, you cannot be easily fooled or swayed. The frontal lobe in the brain helps to process perceived information. It enhances your reasoning capacity. When your reasoning capacity is enhanced, the way you evaluate and analyze information is different from the way a child who is 10 years old would analyze that same information. That is to show that you have developed. So we need to attain that level of reasoning power to enable your decision making. If you make a conscious decision, or if you had made a conscious decision to have your frontal lobe stimulated, as the case may be, our land today will not be desecrated with the blood of our people. Our land will not be contaminated with the information concocted by someone whose frontal lobe is designed to create confusion and milk you whilst you rise against each other. But 2023, we must cleanse it. And you wipe it clean. It is imperative that we do so. If your frontal lobe is developed, you would have perceived that all the teachings of our leader was to prepare you for a time such as this. So you do not fall and replace the development of your frontal lobe with unbridled emotional perceptions. If your frontal lobe is activated, you will ask questions unceasingly. You will ask yourself, what have you learned all these years from the teachings of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi? I want a circulation of our leader's appearance in 2015 in CK. That is why I love Aba people. 1929, the women riot. Aba people, they are strong-willed. This nonsense, people are being kidnapped in Enugu, research and the rest of it. Do you hear such nonsense in Aba? Aba will tell you that you cannot come and speak about person and the person will follow you, hook, line, and sinker. They will reason. They will analyze what you have just said to them. Please find that video of the appearance, the rally of our leader in 2015. People were running from our area. People were leaving their shops and running like they were mad. They were going crazy. They wanted to go and see the man who had made a conscious decision using his frontal lobe to bring his people together. He thrived on showing his people the path to achieving the same. And the meaning of one family. You could travel home without the fear of being kidnapped. There was no incessant killing of our people. Nnamdi Kanu's primary aim is the protection of our people. And he knows the dangers of people with undeveloped frontal lobes. And he kept asking you, he knows the dangers of such people, the mayhem they could cause for the people, because they do not understand the vitality of loyalty. They join the freedom fighting body with their undeveloped frontal lobe, which they brought from their local meeting groups to cause confusion. You are under the sound of my voice today. You are one of the people, you blackmailed your brother and sister just for your position. And then when you mess up in that position, which you did not get using the right path, what do? You run back to the person you initially blackmailed, and you two will gather together against the body you were once part of. Your frontal lobe needs to be activated. You need to stimulate it. If your frontal lobe is activated, you will know that the union you have formed with the person you once blackmailed is smeared and fraught with danger, enveloped with dishonesty, grudge, and disdain. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Who's your friend? He's not your friend. That is another danger with mantras. You just, everything is my friend. When you're done dealing with that enemy, this person will deal with him. Because your relationship is not based, you didn't take it off based on a good premise. It's formed based on killing someone else or maiming someone else. Therefore, your relationship is hokey-pokey, does not exist. You two are deceiving yourselves. you are deceiving each other, because one thing you have in common is to destroy that body you once belonged to. After that, what next? You have yet to ask yourself that question, because your frontal lobe is inactive. That is why you can't even ask the question. Clean up your hearts in 2023. Clean up your heart. Those of you that read the Bible, it says, lift up your hearts, all ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors. What is the gate? Activate your frontal lobe so you can understand and identify what these gates are. Gates. The gate. The gate of confusion, the gate of backbiting, the gate of being power hungry, looking for where to fester confusion. Hitler once failed. Eventually, you can never stay on top forever. You will eventually come down. But make sure that as you were fighting your way up, you have the floor, you made it all smooth and nice. You put beds. As usual, again, that is what I'm trying to say. So that when you fall from there, you got and a lot of people are not waiting for you. So imagine like from messing up the ground once you are going up. So lift up your heads, all ye gates, and be ye lifted up. When you activate that part of your brain, you will understand what these gates are. Tap into the consciousness of your being so you can see in the dark. For myself, in the future, a lot of people will come to understand me. I see better in the dark. When it's dark, then I bet it's
Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. This is once again Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you through the auspices of Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi Jonathan Chinedu from Alo province of Biafra land. And today is the first day of January 2023, being Sunday, Obochi Orie. Without taking any much time, I will hand over the platform to our First Lady, Lolo Uchechi Kanu, to address Biafrans and lovers of freedom on this new year there. Lolo, please, over to you. Go on, ma.
Thank you, Mazi. There we go. Great people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, wherever you are today under the sound of my voice, I say Happy New Year to you all. I say good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you, depending on where you're listening from. I bring you greetings from the great colossus of our time, our indefatigable and indomitable leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Ohamadike I of Biafra land. The message is to follow as he leads. Remain as strong as he is and unshakable as he remains, as formidable as he is. And he reminded that you remember his words, that he will not fail you, but the ball is in your court, not to fail him. Ogadira mata, ogadira ma, echina abia. Ogadira mma n'eke, ogadira mma n'orie, ogadira mma n'afọ, ogadira mma na nkwọ. Dịka ụbọchị taa bụ orie, ka o retara anyị ihe ọma, ahụ isi ike, na ikikere nke anya ime mmụọ, ka anyị nwee ikikere ịhụ ihe ezoro ezo, to see and understand, and to also hear and understand. I will, as always, try to be as precise and concise and plain as I can possibly be. Our HOD has spoken very well today. It is also left for you to digest and understand his message. And if you do not understand the fused sentences, please ask your brother, ask your sister, a lawyer friend, a doctor friend, whoever is versed in understanding, to break these messages down for you. I am here today to bring you the message of our leader, to reiterate the importance of his teachings, which points at the reasoning pattern of our people. I will not waste our time. Nihina ogologo akoko ekwu too much on ebuta nchefu. Equal too much brings you a situation where the brain gets saturated and information gathered becomes useless. So it is our responsibility in 2023 to start to stimulate the part of the brain which incorporates the combination of our level of consciousness and reasoning, called the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, it is one of the 4 lobes in the brain. And with different parts, and each part with a So the burden of our people, I have come to say, is when Onyenduanye continues to say the black man reasons in the very, very low frequency. He keeps pointing at the reasoning capacity of a black man. That is the part of the brain. It is the frontal lobe. It enhances your understanding and the level of your reasoning. The frontal lobe, amongst other parts of the brain, is the area which enables the cognitive process to take place. That is where your understanding comes from. That is where the analysis and critical thinking and that ability for you to reason and plan, that is where it takes place, the frontal lobe. Over the few centuries, there has been an apparent show of an acceptance of subjugated reasoning. In Africa, every Francophone and Anglophone colony have specific differences which either portrays the French or the British culture, which makes them respond and conform to the benefit of their colonial masters. Let us take Igbo landing, for example. The Igbo landing event, I believe our people, they understand history, so I try as much as I can not to keep talking about the histories, but rather take it to expatiate or make clarifications of my meanings. So the Igbo landing event was a prime example of those who refused to conform to an unfamiliar way of reasoning, which was being imposed on them. That right there was a great difference in attitude between those who were originally enslaved and generations that have followed, who gradually allowed their thinking to be subjugated. So to enact a change, which is what today is about, we're coming to 2023. What I church. 31st of December, and then when I was in secondary school, I would get a piece of paper. I would write all my resolutions. The next year I will be this person. I will do this. I will do that. I always had one resolution all the time: how to change to talk to somebody, because I am known to be too, I'm front. I will tell it to you as it is. So, and our people, we misconstrue being told the truth and being insolent. They mix it up together. Because you're older than me doesn't mean I can't tell you what you're doing wrong. And that is why our people are where they are today. So as you come into 2023, what have you got on your slate? What is the new situation you want to find yourself in? What is the new clothing you want to put on? What do you intend to leave behind as 2022 has come and gone? Do you want to remain in the same abject poverty of the mind? We have allowed the poverty of the mind to determine how we behave, to determine how we interact with our brothers and our sisters. So to enact the change, what I come here with today is that frontal lobe. We need to train it. It has to be trained. It has to be exercised and stimulated with simulations. What do I mean by that? Create and play scenarios. Like I say, find your brother who is more versed in understanding and let them break down this for you. You have to understand, because understanding is what leads you from a lower place to a higher place. I am an Aga church. You Bible say you get understanding. So in getting understanding, or rather get knowledge, get wisdom. In everything you get in this life, make money, do everything, but in all, get understanding. So you have to get someone who would explain further if you do not understand what I'm trying to say today. Because if we change the way we think and reason, then our situation will change. So create and play scenarios. What I mean by that, in order, if I movie, you create different movie. Don't just think in that line. Do something they call what if analysis. So do a what if analysis and say, banana not there, for somebody else to say. I'm just trying to break it down so everybody would understand where I'm coming from. So don't just see a picture and that is a picture. You have to come from a diverse perspective in order to arrive to what you're looking at. In 2023, cleanse yourselves from the clutches of a trapped frontal lobe, that part of the brain that helps you to reason, that processes your cognitive pattern. Cleanse yourself from that clutches of the trapped frontal lobe. As people are more comfortable when you are in such position, one of the dangers of an untrained frontal lobe is the perception of issues from emotional standpoint and getting on the bandwagon of mantras which are wrongfully comprehended, which subsequently exhumes foolishness and has brought us into a quagmire of a non-collective approach and an ununified stance. A very good example, we keep faffing about and making noise. Everybody's jumping. But you have Eze. A lot of our people take that mantra to simply mean a lack of leadership amongst our people. However, What it simply means is that the evil person does not conform to sentiments or emotions, but rather are able to question any narrative which portrays us as Republicans. We keep shouting we are Republicans in nature, we don't even know the meaning. Elohim, we don't even have no clue what it is. That frontal lobe is dormant. It's not active. The incorrect interpretation of Iwewenze is the reason we cannot work together as a community or group to achieve a desired purpose, because there is always a group within another group. And that is the reason any criminally minded person can easily penetrate any evil group and cause confusion to fester by introducing false narratives which our people easily conform to. You can also, when you look, you can also spot the hypocrisy of the ill-comprehended mantra. You said in Iwewenze, you can't tell me what to do. We are Republican in nature. But you seek a leader. And then when you get the leader, your next plot is how to form another line of leadership. Yes, Iwewenze. Your next plot is to form another line of leadership within and create your own group, which, when created, you cannot have your own objective. You don't have yours. You want to achieve, you have no objective you want to achieve, you can't create any, but you spend your time maligning the group you just broke out from because you have a hunger for power and control, which, of course, eventually, that is as certain as the sun rises in the east, you will come down. Eventually, you will fall because you started off on the wrong premise. Look around you. Let's use our frontal lobe. Activate it, stimulate it. Those parts of the world with a workable hierarchical structure. Dubai, for example, which is very close by. When I mean by close by, people go there often. They have a better sense of direction than our people. Howbeit, we have a better leverage of individual resources, which, if combined, will dwarf Dubai in every area. But what do we do? What do we do instead? You go to Dubai, you snap pictures, you buy one or two things and return home, and then oppress your brother and sister who can barely feed 3 square meals a day and ask, who are you? You go on social media and feign your miserable life to those who know nothing about you. You need to have your frontal lobe checked and stimulated. Change the way you think, and you will change the outcome of events around you. I would have cited Abraham Lincoln as the only person I revere as a Republican. He was a great Republican, but that is too far from us. So I will give an example that is closer to home. And that would be the great man, Dr. Sam Mbakwe, as his soul continues to rest in peace, was a great Republican, albeit his second term administration was interrupted by Muhammad Buhari's 1983 coup. That will be a different analysis for another day. We also jump on that mantra. We are Republican in nature. You don't even understand the intricacies. Republicans think and act on behalf of the future generation, not for their immediate financial gratification. or try to ingratiate their way and self into other people's life by bribing them or doing whatever. Republicans protect their own from oppressors, from hunger, and the deprivation of adequate infrastructure. That is what Republicans do. They do not kill their own or cause mayhem and bloodshed in their land and against their own people. There are also dangers of emotional evaluation of issues, but that will be a topic for another day, where we let emotions, when your emotions push you, you act irrationally. You will make mistakes. You will not see. You cannot ask no neighbor. So, like when I lost my mother, and when I cry, I like to cry in my closet, like wail and weep. But when I cry in the crowd, I cannot see, and I need to see. So when you act out of emotion, you act foolishly. You end up looking like you're a foolish person. We have to leave our emotions and put on our thinking cap. Like I said, that will be a topic for another day. So if this can be achieved, if we can activate, stimulate our frontal lobe, come the end of 2023, we shall all have a more refined and unified perspective. Because no way, you're going nowhere. You keep cycling. You're taking around, circling, rubbish. The other fool I jump on. For a long time. I have a quote out of in one of the times that I sit and tap into my consciousness. And I found that there are things known for people who just see things and know. And there are things unknown for people who can't just understand. Some people is right there looking at them in the face and they don't even understand what they're looking at. That other part of the brain, we'll talk about it in the future, is not activated as well. That tells you what object you're looking at and sends the information. So there are things known and there are things unknown. And in between these things, it is the door of perception. That is the problem of our people. Perception. Understanding. It is very important. Like I said, our HOD has said it all. I don't want to take too much of our time. I want us to have what he said and what message you're listening to today to stick in your head. You can come back to this very broadcast and listen to it. Let it be the light onto your path and recycle the information. Keep listening to it and finding the holes where you need to feel and how you need to activate your frontal lobe, because that is the main problem here. In conclusion, we now understand the functions of the frontal lobe and the importance of its stimulation. That is the problem. If you have your frontal lobe working, it will not take you one week. When I give you the biological structure and process of a structural and functioning system, it took you 1 week to understand, but you have no idea what I'm talking about. You're busy talking rubbish rather than staying within the context. Your frontal lobe is not developed. It's half-baked. And you need to activate it. So when you do not use an object, for example, when you go away or travel for maybe over years and there is no one cleaning up a room or your house, or you have a particular room in your house where you barely use, over time, you would get a whiff of damp. You know, when you walk into the room, there's this damp whiff you get. Each time you try to access the room, you would, except you clean that room. And that damp smell is repulsive. And this means that when that frontal lobe is not activated, your utterances and your demeanor will be repulsive. Nobody will take you seriously. Nobody will take you seriously. You will be jumping from one post to another. Hey, 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 ha, ha, Aussie, 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 Aussie. The way some people take Aussie, and you're looking at the person bringing the message Aussie. Is it how bad your brain has developed? Or is this how bad your brain failed to develop? Is claiming they attended school. Aussie again. You cannot sit down. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. It's so you're lazy. You cannot stimulate it and use it to analyze and ask questions. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. You don't know that a man who is in captivity of a government can have access and send message through his attorney to his wife, and he can have communication with his wife, and his wife has gone to see him. Your frontal lobe is not thinking. Your frontal lobe is filled with cling film and dumped in a freezer. My little son would tell you the animals that live in Antarctica, what characteristics they have, what they put on to enable them to stay warm in that -5 degrees cold temperature. But you let your brain fall in there and it's sleeping. It's sleeping. You can't be helped. Wake up and use your frontal lobe, because you will have a home to go back to. We need our home to get where we are today. Is not our home. Noise, rubbish. You have to protect your fatherland, your motherland. So nobody will take us seriously if we continuously behave in this repulsive manner. This is what happens when that part of the brain is not stimulated. Your reasoning capacity, when that part of the brain remains unstimulated, the reasoning capacity becomes repulsive. Subsequently, most people from the lower hemisphere, or in the specificity, I would use the word sub-Saharan Africa, they fail to respond accordingly to the information being passed across, thereby weakening that ability over time. So when you don't use that part of the brain, it becomes inactive, it weakens. You can't reason for yourself. You want someone to reason and interpret it for us. That is why we have allowed people who do not understand the ways of God. He's not even meant for you to understand. People who do not understand the inception of what Christianity is all about, and understand the calling, who God has called and who God hasn't called. Everybody falls under the voice of somebody who is confused, someone who has a mental disorder, and you say he's my pastor, he said. I am not against pastor or anything, but we need to be able to understand the difference between what God wants for us and what somebody wants. Be able to discern for yourself. You let someone read the Bible and interpret rubbish for you, and you let someone sit on social media and talk rubbish, and you can't. Your brain is tired. I don't know if it's the poverty, or I don't know what the problem is. But whatever the problem is, you know what they call prayer point? We need to use this frontal lobe as a, for those of you, Mande pay, Mande I go for, I go for, can you change? I am a me. Yeah, when they very Hindu, you pray. What people need to understand is the logos, is the similar thing, is the similarity. Every Monyes na Chineke adege, Monyes na Chineke, Monyes na no waka onefe. They all have one thing in common. What is that? The logos. And what is that? Is the word. Your tongue is your oracle. You speak. You speak in the affirmation that this is how I want this. You tap into the consciousness of your being. I look at some people and I laugh. You don't know the power you wield as a human. Tap into that realm of spirituality. We mix a lot of things up and everybody's confused. Better still, let's go back to the ways of our forefathers. Have finished on. They have finished on. They turned Africans, sub-Saharans especially, to Dundee. Everyone becomes a zombie. Rubbish. You bag PhD. You bag. You think when you speak, you know what I mean? That means you're intelligent. No. Or when someone says, yacht, no, I say yacht, it's not yacht, it's yacht, therefore you're more intelligent. Your frontal lobe needs stimulating. What we need is, you need your franca lingua, you need basic mathematics that will help you add 1 and 2. And then you need all other things, physics, whatever, taught in your lingua franca. If you have to. And also English language, and therefore you're intelligent. You're not. You need to work on your frontal lobe. Okay? That's what you need. This is the main reason Africans are easily swayed in the most obvious situation. You can see the apparent truth. No, you can't, because you can't critically analyze what you're looking at. You fall for it. We need to effectively manage perceived information, ensuring that whatever is presented to us is critically analyzed and evaluated to ensure that it conforms to appropriate understanding within our knowledge base. That is why we're different from monkey. It doesn't mean that monkeys can't do the things we do. They do it. You need to see a monkey washing a plate. He washes a plate, but he washes it differently from how the human does it. When your frontal lobe is stimulated and developed, you cannot be easily fooled or swayed. The frontal lobe in the brain helps to process perceived information. It enhances your reasoning capacity. When your reasoning capacity is enhanced, the way you evaluate and analyze information is different from the way a child who is 10 years old would analyze that same information. That is to show that you have developed. So we need to attain that level of reasoning power to enable your decision making. If you make a conscious decision, or if you had made a conscious decision to have your frontal lobe stimulated, as the case may be, our land today will not be desecrated with the blood of our people. Our land will not be contaminated with the information concocted by someone whose frontal lobe is designed to create confusion and milk you whilst you rise against each other. But 2023, we must cleanse it. We will wipe it clean. It is imperative that we do so. If your frontal lobe is developed, you would have perceived that all the teachings of our leader was to prepare you for a time such as this, so you do not fall and replace the development of your frontal lobe with unbridled emotional perception. If your frontal lobe is activated, you will ask questions unceasingly. You will ask yourself, what have you learned all these years from the teachings of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? I want a circulation of our leader's appearance in 2015 in CK. That is why I love Aba people. 1929, the Aba women riot. Aba people, they are strong-willed. This nonsense, people are being kidnapped in Enugu, in Sochi and the rest of it. Do you hear such nonsense in Aba? Aba will tell you that you cannot come and speak to Aba person and the person will follow you hook, line, and sinker. They will reason. They will analyze what you have just said to them. Please find that video of the appearance, the rally of our leader in 2015. TK Siaba. People were running from our area. People were leaving their shops and running like they were mad. They were going crazy. They wanted to go and see the man who had made a conscious decision using his frontal lobe to bring his people together. He thrived on showing